So here's the deal. Everyone keeps asking the exact same thing. How many hours should I actually fast for? Like, is it 12 hours, 16 hours, maybe 24, or do I need to push way beyond that? But here's the truth bomb nobody wants to drop on you. Your body doesn't give a damn about that fancy fasting app on your phone with all the notifications and achievement badges. Nope, your body is running a completely different program. It's got its own internal biological clock that's been ticking away for millions of years, programmed by evolution itself. At the 12-hour mark, something subtle starts shifting inside you. When you hit 16 hours, a major switch gets flipped like someone just turned on different lights in your system. Roll into 24 hours and your cells literally start cleaning house like they're getting ready for guests. And when you push all the way to 48 hours, that's when the truly wild stuff starts happening. The extraordinary transformations that most folks never even know exist. Today we're taking a deep dive journey inside your body's fasting timeline. We're going hour by hour, stage by stage, to reveal exactly what's going down at each checkpoint. Because when you really think about it, the real question was never about how long you should fast. The actual question is, what exactly do you want your body to accomplish? What's your goal here? Are you trying to burn fat, clean out cellular junk, boost your brain power, or trigger some next-level regeneration? Different goals need different timelines, and that's what most people don't get. They're just copying what some influencer did without understanding the biology behind it. That's like trying to bake a cake without knowing what flour does. Sure, you might get lucky, but you're basically just guessing. Now, before we go any further down this rabbit hole, let me hit you with a quick disclaimer. Everything I'm sharing here is purely educational content. This isn't medical advice, and I'm definitely not your doctor. If you've got any health conditions whatsoever, whether it's diabetes, heart issues, thyroid problems, or literally anything else going on, you absolutely need to have a conversation with your healthcare provider before you start experimenting with any fasting protocol. Seriously, don't skip that step. Your health isn't something to mess around with based on a video you watched online. Always check with a professional who knows your specific situation and medical history. Alright, now here's where things get fascinating from a historical perspective. Way back, like 2000 to 2500 years ago, there was this Greek philosopher named Pythagoras. Yeah, the same dude who gave us that theorem we all learned in geometry class about triangles. Right angles and all that good stuff. Well, this mathematical genius did something pretty extreme. He fasted for a full 40 days straight before taking his examinations at the famous school in Alexandria. And get this, he noticed such a dramatic increase in his mental clarity and physical strength during this time that he was completely blown away by the experience. It changed his whole perspective on human potential. So much so that he later required his own students to fast before they could receive his most advanced teachings. Like, you had to prove you could handle the mental and physical discipline before he'd share the deep knowledge. And Pythagoras wasn't the only one onto something. Hippocrates, who's literally called the father of medicine, the OG doctor himself, he prescribed fasting as a legitimate treatment for all kinds of different ailments and health problems. He saw real results in his patients and documented it extensively. Then you've got ancient Greek Olympic athletes, the absolute top performers of their era, and they incorporated fasting as a regular part of their training regimen. These weren't just casual joggers. These were elite competitors who believed fasting would sharpen their performance and give them better focus when it mattered most. Different time periods, completely different cultures spread across the ancient world, but somehow they all independently discovered the same truth about fasting. They all figured out that going without food for extended periods did something powerful to the human body and mind. Now modern science is finally catching up and explaining the mechanisms behind why all this works. We've got the research, the studies, the peer-reviewed papers, and all the biological explanations that these ancient folks knew instinctively, but couldn't scientifically prove. They experienced the benefits, but didn't have microscopes or understanding of cellular biology to explain what was happening. We do now, and the science is absolutely mind-blowing when you dig into it. So let's go on this journey together inside your body's fasting timeline, hour by hour, and discover what these ancient philosophers and athletes knew in their bones but couldn't explain with hard data and molecular biology. They had the wisdom, we've got the science to back it up. The first 12 hours of your fast are what I like to call the warm-up phase. This is where your body is just getting started, easing into the process. After you finish your last meal, whatever that was, your digestive system immediately gets to work breaking everything down. It takes approximately 4 to 6 hours to fully process the food you just ate. During this active digestion time, glucose from your meal floods into your bloodstream like a river after heavy rain. Your blood sugar spikes up, and in response, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin is basically the delivery truck that shuttles all that energy into your cells where it can be used or stored for later. Your body is in full fed state mode, absorbing nutrients, storing energy, building things up. But once digestion wraps up and everything has been processed, things start to shift in a different direction. The glucose from that last meal begins to deplete as your cells use it up for energy. Your body has a constant need for a steady supply of fuel to keep all your systems running smoothly. Your heart needs to beat, your brain needs to think, your lungs need to breathe. All of that requires energy. So when the immediate food glucose runs low, your body doesn't panic. Instead, it smoothly turns to its backup system, which is glycogen stored primarily in your liver and also in your muscles. Think of glycogen as a mini backup battery pack that your body keeps charged and ready. It's your immediate reserve sitting there just in case you need quick access to energy. As the hours keep ticking by on the clock, your insulin levels gradually start declining and dropping back down toward baseline. Your body is in transition mode now, shifting gears metabolically. Here's the critical part most people completely miss. You're not quite burning fat yet at this stage. That hasn't kicked in. But your body is definitely getting ready for it, preparing the metabolic machinery. You're on the entrance ramp to the highway, not cruising at full speed yet, but definitely approaching emerging. You can feel something different happening, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it is. Now here's the thing that blows my mind about modern eating patterns. If you eat constantly throughout all your waking hours, starting with breakfast right when you wake up, then snacks mid-morning, then lunch, then afternoon snacks, then dinner, and maybe even a late night bite before bed, your body literally never gets past this initial phase. The metabolic switch we're about to talk about never gets a chance to flip over. You stay permanently stuck in storage mode, constantly running on glucose, never ever tapping into your fat reserves. Your body is like a car that only ever uses one fuel tank and never switches to the backup. Most people in modern society never even reach the 12-hour mark of fasting. They're eating from the moment they wake up until right before they go to sleep, sometimes eating right up until bedtime. That's a massive missed opportunity for metabolic flexibility and all the benefits that come with it. Your body is designed to switch between fuel sources, but if you never give it the chance, it forgets how. The metabolic machinery gets rusty from lack of use. But this 12-hour mark is just the warm-up, just the beginning. The real magic, the stuff that makes fasting so powerful, that's coming up next. This is just your body clearing the runway and preparing for takeoff. Now let's talk about what happens between hour 12 and hour 16. This is the zone where things legitimately get interesting from a biological standpoint. By this point in your fast, your glycogen stores are significantly depleted, running on empty. Your liver has been steadily releasing glucose into your bloodstream to keep your blood sugar stable and prevent crashes. But those glycogen reserves are running seriously low now. There's not much left in the tank. Insulin drops all the way down to baseline levels, the lowest point in your daily cycle. And right here, your body faces a critical decision point. It needs fuel to keep operating. Glucose is running out fast. The tank is almost empty. So what does your incredibly smart body do? Something absolutely remarkable that showcases millions of years of evolutionary programming. It flips a biological switch. Dr. Mark Mattson, who's a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins University, one of the top research institutions in the world, has dedicated over 25 years of his career to studying intermittent fasting and its effects on the brain and body. That's a quarter century of research. His research team actually coined the specific term metabolic switch to describe this exact moment we're talking about. When your body transitions from burning glucose as its primary fuel to burning fat instead. It's a fundamental shift in how your entire metabolism operates. In a landmark paper that changed how scientists think about fasting, Mattson and his colleagues demonstrated through careful research that this metabolic switch typically occurs somewhere between 12 and 36 hours after your last meal. The exact timing depends on how much glycogen your liver had stored up to begin with, which varies from person to person based on what they ate and how active they've been. For most people eating a standard American diet with regular carbohydrate intake, the switch happens somewhere around the 12 to 16 hour mark. That's the sweet spot where the transition occurs for the average person. Here's a helpful way to visualize what's happening inside you. Imagine your body has two separate fuel tanks, two different energy systems. Glucose is like regular gasoline. It's your default fuel source, the one your body prefers to use first. It's super easy to access, burns quickly and efficiently, and your body knows exactly what to do with it. Fat, on the other hand, is like reserved diesel fuel. It's stored away in adipose tissue all over your body. It takes more metabolic effort to access and convert into usable energy, but here's the thing, there's way more of it available. Most people are walking around with weeks or even months worth of stored fat energy, way more than they could ever store as glycogen. Around hour 12 to 16 of your fast, you effectively run out of regular gas in that first tank, and your metabolic engine switches over to diesel, to fat-burning mode. Insulin plays an absolutely crucial role in this whole process, acting as a gatekeeper. Think of insulin as a traffic cop standing at a busy intersection directing the flow. When insulin levels are high, which happens after you eat anything, especially carbohydrates, it holds up a red stoplight. Fat stays locked away in storage. No exit allowed whatsoever. Insulin literally blocks the release of fat from your adipose tissue. But when insulin drops way down during fasting, the light turns green. Fat can now flow freely out of your cells and into your bloodstream, where it gets transported to your liver and converted into usable energy in the form of ketones and fatty acids. This metabolic mechanism is precisely why 16/8 intermittent fasting works so well for so many people. You're not just randomly skipping breakfast to reduce calories, although that can be a side benefit. You re-strategically giving your body enough continuous time without food to flip that metabolic switch and start tapping into fat reserves. Even if you never fast longer than 16 hours, even if that's your maximum, you're still triggering this fundamental metabolic shift every single day. That's incredibly powerful for body composition, for health markers, for longevity. And here's what Mattson's research revealed that surprised even experienced scientists, who thought they understood metabolism. Ketones, those molecules your liver produces when it's burning fat for fuel, aren't just a backup energy source that your body reluctantly uses when glucose isn't available. The evidence strongly suggests they may actually be the preferred fuel for both your brain and body during periods without food. Your brain runs incredibly efficiently on ketones. Some researchers argue even better than on glucose. Your body isn't struggling or suffering in fasting mode like conventional wisdom suggests. It's not starving or in crisis. It's actually optimizing, running on premium fuel. This is an adaptation that kept our ancestors alive during times of food scarcity. Their bodies got sharper and more focused when hunting for food, not weaker. That's survival advantage at work. But here's where things get even more fascinating as we push deeper into the timeline. Between hour 16 and hour 24, fat burning deepens significantly and ramps up even more. Ketone production goes into high gear. Your liver is now in full production mode, churning out these alternative fuel molecules at a rapid pace and flooding your system with them. And something else happens during this window, something that directly addresses the number one fear people have about fasting. The fear that keeps many people from even trying it. The concern about losing muscle mass. Growth hormone surges dramatically. Multiple studies have demonstrated that during a 24-hour fast, growth hormone levels can increase up to 5-fold. That's 5 times your normal baseline level. A 500% increase. That's not a minor bump, that's a massive surge. Why does this matter so much? What's the significance of growth hormone spiking like this? Think of growth hormone as your body's insurance policy protecting your valuable assets. It sends a crystal clear message to your muscles. Don't worry, we're burning fat for energy, not you. Stay put, we need you. This isn't starvation mode where the body panics. This is optimization mode where the body strategically uses its best fuel sources. Your body isn't stupid or random in how it operates. It's incredibly intelligent and strategic. It knows muscle tissue is valuable, absolutely essential for survival, for movement, for protection. So when food becomes temporarily scarce, your body doesn't immediately cannibalize lean tissue first, like you might assume. That would be terrible survival strategy. Instead, it protects muscle mass while burning through fat reserves. That's exactly what fat is there for, to be used when food isn't available. Growth hormone rises specifically and strategically to preserve muscle tissue while your body burns through stored fat. This is an evolutionary adaptation that's literally millions of years in the making, refined over countless generations. Ancient humans didn't eat 3 square meals a day plus snacks every few hours like we do now. That's a very modern eating pattern that's only existed for maybe 100 years. They went through natural cycles of feast and famine, sometimes eating big meals, sometimes going days with little or no food. Those individuals whose bodies intelligently preserved muscle during lean times survived long enough to hunt another day and pass on their genes to the next generation. Those whose bodies broke down muscle first, making them weak and unable to hunt or defend themselves, they didn't pass on their genes to future generations. They died out. You're literally the descendant of the survivors, the ones whose bodies were smart enough to preserve muscle. And your body still carries that exact same genetic programming today. It's hardwired into your DNA. By this point in your fast, somewhere past 16 hours, you might also notice something else happening that feels almost magical. Increased mental clarity and focus. Your thinking becomes sharper, clearer, more focused than usual. You might feel more alert and present. This isn't just subjective feeling or placebo effect, although mindset does play a role in everything. This mental sharpness has a real biochemical basis. Ketones don't just fuel your muscles and organs. They cross the blood-brain barrier and feed your neurons directly, providing your brain cells with energy. Think of ketones as premium high-octane gasoline for your brain. They're cleaner burning than glucose, provide steadier energy without the spikes and crashes, and produce fewer metabolic waste products. That mental sharpness and laser focus people describe during fasting, it's not imaginary or wishful thinking. It's pure chemistry and biology at work. Ancient hunters needed sharp minds and keen focus to successfully track prey while they were hungry. If their brains got foggy and slow when they hadn't eaten, they'd never catch anything and would starve. Your brain in fasting mode is returning to that primal alertness that kept your ancestors alive. It's working harder, processing faster, and thinking smarter because that's exactly what millions of years of evolution designed it to do. It's an adaptive advantage. Pythagoras, that ancient Greek philosopher and mathematician we mentioned earlier, wasn't imagining things or experiencing placebo when he noticed dramatically improved mental clarity during his 40-day fast. He was experiencing real biological changes in his brain function. He just didn't have access to modern neuroscience or an understanding of ketone metabolism to explain what was happening inside his skull. Now we do. We can measure ketone levels, do brain scans, track cognitive performance, and see exactly what's occurring. And now around hour 24 of your fast, something truly Nobel Prize-worthy begins happening inside your cells. In 2016, a Japanese cell biologist named Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discovering and explaining the mechanisms of a cellular process called autophagy. That's a Greek word that literally translates to self-eating. Auto means self, phagy means eating. Self-eating. That sounds pretty alarming and maybe even disturbing at first. Like your body is eating itself, which sounds terrible. But it's actually one of the most elegant and beneficial survival mechanisms your body possesses. A true masterpiece of biological engineering. Here's what Ohsumi discovered while working with simple baker's yeast in his laboratory back in the early 1990s. He identified 15 essential genes that control this cellular recycling process in precise detail. When cells are deprived of nutrients for extended periods, they don't just sit there idle doing nothing, passively waiting. They activate a sophisticated cleanup system, like flipping on a biological vacuum cleaner. Damaged proteins get broken down and recycled into their component amino acids. Malfunctioning mitochondria, the power plants of your cells that aren't working properly anymore, get eliminated and cleared out. Cellular waste and debris that's been accumulating gets cleared out and repurposed for energy or building blocks. Think of autophagy as your cells hiring Marie Kondo, that organizing expert, to come in and clean house. Your cells start systematically going through everything, throwing out the broken furniture and damaged goods, recycling old parts that can still be useful, and making room for new fresh components. It's not destruction or damage, it's renewal and regeneration. Your body has its own built-in detox system that's far more effective than any juice cleanse or supplement you could buy. You don't need to drink some special tea or take expensive pills. Your body already has this incredible system built right in, it just needs enough time without food to activate fully. And the health implications are absolutely profound when you really think about them. This is a big part of why fasting has been linked in numerous studies to increased longevity and reduced risk of major diseases like Alzheimer's disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancers. Autophagy clears out the cellular junk and garbage that accumulates over time in your body. The rogue misfolded proteins that can cause problems. the dysfunctional components that don't work right anymore, the metabolic debris that contributes to aging and chronic disease. Every single hour you stay in this fasted state past 24 hours, you're giving your system a deep internal cleanse at the most fundamental cellular level. Osumi's groundbreaking discovery opened up entirely new fields of research in understanding how our cells maintain themselves over time, how the aging process actually works at the cellular level, and how we might be able to prevent disease at the most fundamental level by supporting autophagy. All of this knowledge came from studying humble yeast cells in a laboratory. That's the power of basic science research. Sometimes the simplest organisms teach us the most about human biology. Now, to be completely clear and upfront about this is where fasting starts to get more serious and requires more attention. If you're planning to go beyond 24 hours, especially if this is your first time attempting a longer fast, you really need to pay close attention to how you feel. Listen to your body's signals carefully. Hydration becomes absolutely crucial at this stage. You need to drink plenty of water, more than you might think. Electrolytes, specifically sodium, potassium, and magnesium, play a vital role in keeping your heart rhythm stable and regular, maintaining your energy levels, and preventing muscle cramps. Without adequate electrolytes, you can run into serious problems even if you're drinking lots of water. This is territory where listening to your body really matters. Some level of hunger is completely normal and expected during a fast. That's just your stomach releasing ghrelin, the hunger hormone, at its usual meal times. But feeling extremely weak, dizzy, confused, or experiencing heart palpitations, that's different. That's not normal hunger. That's your body telling you something is seriously off balance. If something feels genuinely wrong, not just uncomfortable or hungry, but actually wrong in a concerning way, you need to stop the fast immediately. Your body is trying to communicate with you. Listen to what it's saying. Don't push through warning signs because you're trying to hit some arbitrary time goal. Your health and safety come first, always. Breaking a fast early isn't failure, it's intelligence and self-awareness. But what if you decide to push even further into extended fasting territory? What happens beyond 48 hours? You enter deep fasting territory where the benefits become even more pronounced, but so do the risks. Autophagy reaches peak levels, the highest point possible. Your cells are in full cleanup mode, working overtime to clear out decades of accumulated junk. And something else remarkable begins to happen that researchers have only recently discovered. Research from the University of Southern California has shown through careful studies that extended fasting can actually trigger immune system regeneration. Old damaged white blood cells that aren't functioning properly anymore get cleared out through autophagy. Stem cells, those master cells that can turn into any type of cell your body needs, become activated to generate fresh new immune cells. It's like hitting a reset button on your entire immune system, giving you a younger, more responsive defense system. Some studies even suggest this immune regeneration can help cancer patients recover immune function after harsh chemotherapy treatments that destroy both cancer cells and healthy immune cells. The body's regenerative capacity, given enough time and the right conditions, is absolutely remarkable and almost miraculous. Your gut lining also begins preparing for renewal, replacing old cells with fresh ones. Inflammation markers throughout your body continue to drop even lower than at 24 hours. Your whole body enters a state of deep repair and regeneration that very few people in modern society ever experience because we constantly eating. But here's the reality check nobody wants to hear, but everyone needs to understand. Beyond 48 hours, yes, the potential benefits are real and documented in research, but so are the risks and dangers. Electrolyte imbalances become much more likely and can be serious. Without proper management and supplementation, muscle loss can start occurring despite growth hormone. Your organs, particularly your kidneys and liver, experience increased stress from processing waste products. This isn't something to attempt casually based on a YouTube video or social media post, or without proper guidance and supervision. If you're seriously considering fast this long multiple days without food, you absolutely must work with a healthcare professional who understands extended fasting protocols. Get your blood work monitored before, during, and after if possible. Understand exactly what you're doing to your body and why. Your body is capable of truly extraordinary things that seem almost superhuman, but it also deserves respect and proper care. Don't play games with your health trying to be extreme. And always remember this important fact. Fasting isn't appropriate or safe for everyone. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, your baby needs consistent nutrition. If you have any history of eating disorders, fasting can trigger relapses and dangerous behaviors. If you're diabetic and taking medication, fasting can cause dangerous blood sugar crashes. If you have other health conditions like heart problems or kidney disease, fasting needs medical supervision. This isn't for you without proper medical guidance and oversight, period. Don't take chances with serious health conditions. So after diving deep into all this science, exploring all these biological mechanisms, understanding all these timeline milestones, what have we actually learned? What's the takeaway here? Your body isn't counting hours the same way your fancy smartphone app does with notifications and achievements. It's running a sophisticated biological program, one that unfolds in distinct stages over time. At 12 hours into your fast, the warm-up phase begins. Glycogen starts depleting from your liver. Your metabolism is shifting gears. You're approaching the starting line of fat burning, but haven't crossed it yet. At 16 hours, the big metabolic switch flips like someone pulled a lever. Insulin drops to baseline levels. Fat burning begins in earnest. Ketones start flowing into your bloodstream. Your body transitions from sugar burner to fat burner. This is the minimum effective dose for many people's goals. At 24 hours, growth hormone surges up to 5 times normal to protect your precious muscle mass. Mental clarity sharpens noticeably as ketones fuel your brain. And that cellular cleanup process activates. The Nobel Prize-winning process of autophagy that clears out cellular garbage. This is where deeper benefits begin. At 48 hours and beyond, deep regeneration becomes possible that you can't achieve with shorter fasts. Immune system renewal starts happening. Stem cell activation occurs. Profound repair takes place throughout your body. This is advanced territory that requires preparation and respect. Each milestone triggers different biological mechanisms. Each hour unlocks different benefits and activations. The question was never how long should you fast, like there's one universal answer. The real question is, what exactly do you want your body to accomplish? What's your specific goal? Want to tap into fat-burning mode and improve insulin sensitivity? 16 hours might be perfectly enough for your needs. Want cellular cleanup and autophagy to kick in fully? You'll need to push past 24 hours consistently. Want deep immune regeneration and stem cell activation? That requires even more time, serious preparation, and absolute respect for your body's limits. Don't push beyond your capacity. Pythagoras knew it worked 2,000 years ago. Hippocrates prescribed it as medicine. Ancient Olympic athletes trained with it for competitive edge. And now modern science, from Johns Hopkins research to Nobel Prize-winning discoveries, is confirming and explaining what humans have intuited for thousands of years. Your body has an intelligence and wisdom we're only beginning to understand with modern tools. Fasting doesn't weaken you like conventional wisdom suggests. It reveals how much strength you already had hidden inside. Here's what I genuinely want to know from you watching this. What's the longest you've personally ever fasted? Drop your number down in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious where most of you land on the spectrum. Are most people doing 16/8? Are some pushing to 24 hours? Who's tried extended fasts beyond 48 hours? I read every comment and love seeing the variety of experiences. And here's a debate topic for you to chew on. Some experts say 16/8 is enough for everyone to get all the benefits they need. Others argue you absolutely need 24 hours or more for real significant results. Based on everything you just learned about the biological timeline and different mechanisms activating at different times, which camp are you in? Tell me your position in the comments. In one single word, tell me what surprised you most about your body's fasting timeline and capabilities. What fact or mechanism blew your mind? Mine would definitely be autophagy. Learning that our cells have this built-in cleaning system that just needs activation was mind-blowing. The fact that Osumi won a Nobel Prize for discovering something our bodies do naturally is incredible. If this video changed how you think about fasting and what's actually happening inside you, hit that subscribe button for more science-based content that reveals what your body is truly capable of achieving. And if you know someone who has been confused about how long they should fast or why different people recommend different durations, send them this video right now. They'll finally understand why different fasting lengths accomplish different biological goals. It's not about one size fits all. Next up, we're going to explore what actually happens when you break a fast and why the first meal you eat matters way more than you probably think. How you end a fast can make or break all the benefits you just worked for. Stay tuned for that deep dive. Video disclaimer. Important disclaimer. The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Before starting any fasting protocol, especially extended fasts beyond 16 hours, please consult with a qualified healthcare professional. Fasting may not be appropriate for everyone, including but not limited to pregnant or breastfeeding women, individuals with eating disorders, people with diabetes or other metabolic conditions, those taking certain medications, or anyone with underlying health conditions. Always listen to your body and stop fasting if you experience concerning symptoms such as extreme weakness, dizziness, confusion, or heart palpitations. The creator of this content is not liable for any health outcomes resulting from implementing the information discussed. Individual results may vary, and what works for one person may not be appropriate for another. Please prioritize your health and safety by seeking personalized medical advice from licensed healthcare providers who know your complete medical history.